Wow, so we were just warned by some stories to show the economy is not nearly as strong as it should be. Not from the government, not from White House, not from the national press, but from the main street, from us, from the people. Let's jump into these stories today. I think these are going to be eye-opening, and it's going to teach us something. How good is our economy? Or how bad is our economy? Do you believe Bidenomics is actually working like it's supposed to? Let's go through some facts about your money, about our money, about what we're dealing with each and every day when it comes to spending, saving, and taking care of our cash. Today's video, we're going to talk about a few stories that should be very eye-opening when it comes to your money, but also it hopefully will help you say, you know what, we could learn something from these stories. And I think it's going to help us all when it comes to being prepared, especially your finances. Let's jump into it. Today's video starts right now.
The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay.
Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so much for being here today. If you're new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's okay, but let us know what you think about this video. We actually have had a little rain coming, but not much. I hope it will flood. But we've been putting up hay, trying to get everything done and ready while we had dry weather. So today we're by the hay barn. A little update before we jump into this video. The Facebook situation that was happening, we are still battling the whole situation. We are not unlocked yet. As soon as we are able to post again on Facebook, we're actually deactivating all the accounts and maneuvering everything off that platform. I think that's for the best, and I hope that you will join us, staying on YouTube, but looking at some other options to just talk back and forth with you. If it's from Truth Social or Twitter, we'll leave both of those handles below. Check us out there because we're going to be posting daily pictures, things like that, like we were typically doing on Facebook. But we are leaving Facebook, by the way. But as soon as we get control of those pages back, we will deactivate those and you'll see us maneuver onto the new platforms. Now let's start this video, and the whole point of this video today is to talk about your money. Now, we talk a lot about prepping money and making sure our money is safe, but let's go through some pretty startling facts about Bidenomics and how it's going to impact you, but not really you. It's almost impacting our whole society because the generations below us. So what can we learn from that? And I think that's what's going to be key. First thing I want to talk about is across the world, you're seeing a movement of civil unrest. There's an article on Zero Hedge about this, about how civil unrest is taking place across the world. Not for what you think, though. It's because the young adults' unemployment rates. We see a lot of people, especially in the Asian countries, we see a lot of people in the European countries where they're just living with their parents. Not only are they living with their parents, they've also accumulated piles of debt, if it be college loans or just the fact that they don't know how to get into the workforce. There's never, I guess, no home training, I don't know, but basically what they're showing is the younger generations are not getting into the workforce. Well, that's going to cause a chain reaction. Of course, we talked about with this with Social Security in America, but also with any retirement system in any kind of situation, any state or country. But what else should we be worried about with that? If we see a society that is growing up not being able to work and take care of themselves and fend for themselves and to be able to save money and to get on budget, then what we're going to see is they're going to be living off handouts either from their parents, from society, as private businesses and the private people who are trying to help them, or the government. So the more we become lackadaisical with this, and the more we just say, you know what, hey, they're kids, they'll grow up, the more we don't make that work ethic start at a young age, what we're going to see is a chain reaction of a lazy workforce or someone who believes you can just give them money, a handout mentality. It says countries with the highest youth unemployment, you're starting to see those generations trend away from capitalism to more things like socialism. Now, why? I believe they're lost and confused and absolutely, completely indoctrinated by schooling. But what they're saying is they want to be taken care of by the powers that be. What they don't understand, if no one's contributing to a society, no one's contributing to the system can't just always take care of everybody. Or either they're going to keep taxing everyone where they're not going to want to work, or they're going to print money, which is going to cause a major financial collapse anyway. We have to get on top of it. It's not going to all of a sudden just get better. And it's because we haven't taught our younger generations what work is, and also kind of how to take care of yourself, teaching responsibility. And that kind of leads us into the other two stories. 61% of individuals are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, meaning they are just barely getting by. There was another percentage of around 10 to 15% on top of the 61% that were not even able to cover the bills, and they were living strictly off credit cards, meaning they were just building up more and more debt each and every week. Now, some of that 61% also said they were using credit cards, but hopefully trying to pay off as much as they could. But now you're starting to see a delinquency rate that's going to cause more volatility in the economic situation, even in America. We tend to keep being lazy as the lower generation. We tend to keep spending as the upper generations, and we can't make it on Social Security or what we've put up because we don't have anything put up because we're living paycheck to paycheck. What's to say this is going to get any better? Now, what is the outcome to that? Just this week was released that food prices are going to continue to climb. You know, I made a video last week, and if you missed that window, you better start going to buy. But there was a window where meat dropped a little bit. Not that it dropped actually compared to the prices that we had back in 2019, 2018, but what it was doing, it was kind of leveling off for right now. Well, the problem is that meat and all that is starting to climb back up. You're going to see the gas prices keep going up. You're going to see more issues with getting the goods to you. Freight and truckers are taking 15 to 20% less per loads just to get the jobs because there's a supply chain issue. You're starting to see overseas freight having problems with shipping it across the world due to wars, due to weather, and due to major political polarization right now. So what's happening is you're seeing a breakdown of that supply chain again, which is going to cause the food price to go up. Inflation is not going down either. There was a study that came out and said that actually inflation is still not going down, even with these Fed rate hikes. So if we're raising the interest and the inflation is not going down, that is going to cause these 61% who are already struggling paycheck to paycheck, the other 10 or 15% who are living delinquently on credit cards, those numbers will get even worse because, again, I know your bosses are not able to pay you an extra 5, 10, 15% on top of a typical raise to cover the cost of inflation and interest. Last point I want to make before we go. Axios wrote a story, and I'm not a big Axios fan, but they wrote a story that said Americans are saving and earning less. However, they have not stopped spending. So the generations now are struggling, but they tend to still want the conveniences. They still want the microwave society where I gotta have it. Instead of being a need, it becomes a want, and we're still buying wants when we can't afford them. So it's putting us more in debt. So we wonder why the generations under us don't understand how to work. Now we see why they believe that they're supposed to be given everything. We are making a capitalistic society more of a socialistic style society, all because we can't control our own spending. All because we can't get a hold of our own economy. Because, for one thing, did you know, I want you to look it up. I want you to do your own research on this, but go look up how much food we still import across the world to America, meaning the tomatoes, the almonds, the nuts, the meat. Look at how seafood, look at how much food we're still importing to America. We always say America can be sufficient, and it could be, but we don't have enough people growing food. So therefore, the freight, supply chain issues, also the fact that groceries are going up, inflation's still up, those are going to cause that problem to get worse. And then also just go look at the millions and millions and millions and millions of pounds of food that we still have to import because America can't produce enough. We have a generation who is spending way more than they're actually taking in. A majority of society living paycheck to paycheck. And if you're one of those people, gosh, I want you to think about what you could do to get away from maybe wants and get to needs. Saying, I just need this, necessity only. That's why we try to make these videos to help. What can we buy to save money? How can we buy in bulk? What's the best buys for right now? Because we want you to understand, if you don't get on a budget and you don't get on a plan, you don't find a way to do a side hustle. I got a video on side hustle just a few weeks ago. If we don't figure that out, we are building a generation that will fall into socialism even more because they've never seen work ethic, or they see, I want to be handed everything and we don't have to work for it. That's really the truth of Main Street economics. When we start seeing the breakdown of our food, the breakdown of how the family is able to save money, make money, or spend money, then you're going to see more of a chaotic situation as you move into a more spending heavy time of the year. We always spend more as a country in the last quarter of the year. That's when a lot of retail makes most of it's money. Because why? Christmas, holidays, getting together with family. Well, if we're already living paycheck to paycheck, we're already delinquent. Also, you see the loans for student loans are coming back, which I believe they should be paid, but student loans and interest, all that's coming back. Do you honestly believe you're better off with Biden and the way he's doing this economic structure? It may not be. We all would probably say, no, it's terrible. The problem is we can't stop our spending enough to say, you know what, we can learn from this and start tightening our budget. We can learn from this and start building more side hustles. We can learn from this and teach the younger generations. My dad wouldn't let me get a truck until I was able to get a job. So I had to get a job as a pool boy, and I hated it. I despised working on pools. But it was the only way I could get an automobile. I had to go to work before they were able to help me buy my first vehicle. Now, does that mean it was perfect? No. I hated being a pool boy. I actually sucked at it. It did teach me a lesson. It taught me that if I want something, I have to work for it. And when we teach that to our younger generations, we're going to make a difference. If you watch The Max Life, you'll see our children. Our children are out there doing little chores with us, with our animals. They're doing chores in the home. You'll see we're teaching how to cook, teaching skills. Why do we do that? We want to raise a better generation than even what we were. We don't want to drop the ball with our kids. We want to teach them stewardship and sustainability. We also want to teach them how to save money, how to take care of their families, how to live on a budget, how to decipher wants versus needs, because all those little principles will help them face tough economic times. Because remember, we're like this always. There's good times and there's bad. If we can learn from the good times, we can gain wisdom from the bad times, then we can be better for the future. So I want you to comment below. What have you done to tighten your budget? What have you done to work on doing better at a side hustle? What have you done to figure out how to kind of weave through this economic situation? Are you putting more money up? Are you getting money out of certain accounts and putting them here and buying assets, paying off debt? Tell me what you're doing. Or are you one of the ones living, paycheck to paycheck? If so, I challenge you to go back and look at some of the videos we've done on money, finances, budgeting, and side hustles. A great way to maybe turn it around. So let me know in the comments below what you're personally doing. And in that way, hopefully we can gain wisdom, learn from the Bidenomics, and realize that we need to go back to a true capitalist society, get away from this socialist mentality, and help the generations below us do better. Working is not a bad thing. Working is good for us. When we think that we have to be handed everything, that's when we start building bad generation and bad habits. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. More than anything, we are in a very volatile time when it comes to our money. So be wise with your money. Understand what you could do with your cash. We have tons of videos on financing and prepping money. Let's be good stewards with what God's given us. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.